In episode 8, Jun-Ho was able to take that dive pack to a close island. As soon as he gets off, he pulls out his cell phone, which he kept in a waterproof bag. He's trying to reach a signal so he can call the police station and get people to this location to shut this game down. He's having problem reaching a signal on the shore, so he heads up to the mountaintop. But as he's going up, he notices that the front man, along with a bunch of triangles, have arrived. So time is of the essence. He hides off. He is able to make an outgoing call to the chief of police, and he lets him know what's going on. Chief's a little concerned because Jun-Ho has been missing for a couple days, but Jun-Ho says, "No, Chief, you got to get people to my location immediately. Coast Guard, cops, Air Force, Navy, Army, whatever, just get them here right away. I'm southwest of the mainland. You got to locate my signal." The police chief is really confused on what's going on, so Jun-Ho says, "I'll send over everything I've got." And he starts to try to text over the files that he accumulated during research. The pictures, the videos, everything that would explain what kind of situation he's currently in. The problem is the signal sucks. So every time he tries to send over a file, it's not working. Meanwhile, the front man and his men are getting closer and closer to Jun-Ho's location. As Jun-Ho tries to run through the forest to evade them, he gets to the point where he's at the edge of a cliff with nowhere else to go. He's cornered. He pulls a gun and demands that all the triangles put down their weapons. He introduces himself as a police officer, but he knows that he's screwed because he's completely outgunned in this situation, and these people clearly don't value human life. When the front man shows up, Jun-Ho tells him that the police are on their way, but the front man doesn't believe it. He knows that the Korean police are generally pretty slow to react, and he also knows that with the location of the island, it's probably unlikely he was able to send over any kind of evidence as to what's going on. So he calls Jun-Ho's bluff. Jun-Ho, though, isn't giving up. He tells the front man if he turns himself in, he might be able to get a plea bargain. And the front man is being unusually compassionate. He tells Jun-Ho that if he puts his weapon down, they might actually let him live. The front man, though, continues to walk closer to Jun-Ho, and finally Jun-Ho, using the final bullet in his gun, fires it at the front man and hits him in the shoulder. The front man's hurt, but he still doesn't command any of his workers to shoot Jun-Ho. He tells Jun-Ho, "Come with me, or else you're going to die." It finally dawns on Jun-Ho that he should already be dead. So he asks the front man, "Who are you?" And when the front man finally takes off his mask, he reveals that he's Jun-Ho's brother. That's why he was being so compassionate. He didn't want to kill Jun-Ho. The frontman figured that maybe revealing his identity to Jun-Ho would get him to come with him, but it doesn't. Jun-Ho's more in shock than anything. The frontman at this point has given Jun-Ho plenty of opportunities to turn himself in, so he pulls out a gun. And right before he shoots him, Jun-Ho asks him, "Why?" But the frontman answers with a slug in his chest. The frontman and his people then head back to the island, where the contestants, the remaining ones, have arrived back in the barracks. Seong is pretty disgusted at what Song-woo did. And Song-woo reminds Seong that they'd all be dead had he not thrown that guy through the pane of glass. The way that Song-woo looks at it, Seong should be thanking him because they need somebody like him out there who's not afraid to get a little blood on his hands. They start arguing about it, and then the conversation gets pretty personal with the insults. It only gets broken up when workers come in to give each remaining contestant a box with a tuxedo in it. They announce that because they made it through the first 5 games, they've prepared a special gift for each of them. Sa-byeok, though, isn't there to hear this because she's in the bathroom trying to clean herself up. She is badly injured. When all that glass broke, she got a nice big chunk right in her abdomen, and she's bleeding profusely. She tries to patch it up, but you get a feeling that it's not going to be all that easy to patch this wound up. It's pretty deep. She's going to try to conceal it, and later on, all 3 of them head to see what this special gift is. And the gift is a nice steak dinner. Sa-byeok is clearly laboring because as Song-woo and Seong polish off their steaks, Sa-byeok has barely touched hers when they take the steak away. They take the plate, they take the fork, but all the workers leave everybody with one steak knife, just sitting there. When they head back to the barracks that night, most of them aren't sleeping. They're just sitting in their bed, clutching that knife, waiting for a possible attack. Really, though, it's just waiting for an attack from one person. It's Seong and Sa-biak waiting to see if they're attacked by Sang-woo, who at this point doesn't give a rat's ass about anybody but advancing in the game. So he's the threat. Seong has noticed that Sa-biak is not holding up too well, so he wants to go over and kind of form an alliance with her. He knows that together they should be able to take out Sang-woo. And while he can't hear the conversation, Sang-woo can clearly see that the two are talking, and he knows the conversation is not to his benefit. And they are talking about taking him out and sharing the prize money. And Sa-biak asks, do you know what you're going to do with all that money once we do get out? And Seong says, yeah, I'll pay my debt off, I'll buy a nice store for my mom, and then I'll finally start to be a real dad to my little girl. Sa-biak asks Seong, how old's your little girl? And when Seong says she's 10, Sa-biak shocks him by saying that's how old my little brother is. And she tells Seong the story about how she's trying to win the money to get her parents over from North Korea while her little brother sits in an orphanage currently because she can't afford to get him out. An agreement is met in that moment, but the agreement is if one of them makes it out and the other doesn't, then the one that made it out will take care of the loved ones. It was proposed by Sa-biak, who knows that her likelihood of making it out is slim to none at this point because she's continued to bleed out. She wants to make sure that if she dies, her little brother will be taken care of. And Seong agrees. Shortly after agreeing, Seong looks over and sees that Sang-woo is fallen asleep. He's about to creep over there and kill him, but Sa-biak stops him and says, that isn't you. And Seong knows that she's right. That's when Sa-biak collapses over. The blood loss has gotten too much. And when Seong sees just how much blood she's lost, he tries to get help for her, screaming, causing a scene, trying to get the workers to come in and patch her up so she can finish the game. Finally, the lights do come on, and workers come in, but they're not here to help Sa-biak because they're holding a casket. And when Seong turns around, he sees that Sang-woo is standing over Sa-biak's body. Sang-woo killed her. Seong is enraged. He goes to attack Sang-woo, but the workers stop him. Because with only 2 people remaining, they still need to finish this game. Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry, it'll be up in a day or 2.